And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You can be watching from anywhere around the country or the world. And I really appreciate every single one of you coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. All right, so now we are going to switch over. Let's go here. All right, so hello, everybody. It's I, Alien Spaceship. I hope everybody's been having a good day, afternoon, evening, wherever you all are. And hello, Richard. Good to see you. And now I'll be doing the game, then getting into some different topics later on in the stream. But first, we'll start out with the game. All right. Okay, let's go here. Okay, here we go. All right, here we are in the Tortuga. That's where this is. Okay. I have never been in this cottage before. I thought it was just an NPC. Huh. Never been here. Okay. That's actually a nice cottage. And yeah, so we have the pirate flag with the skull and crossbones and the pirate hat. We have a desk and a candle. Okay. There's a raft right there. Okay, and some tonics, and you have a bed. I said that's a nice setup right there. Oh, you can stand on this. Looking up at the ceiling. Yep. Yeah, the desk is that way. These other rooms. Yeah, it's kind of a working room. That's what I assume it is. It's probably a quest. Let's see. Oh, I like that. That is a wood burning stove. They would use that for cooking and warming up. But of course, I don't know how often they would use a to warm up down there, but maybe they do at times. I don't know. So going out there, go back to the main region. Okay. This dude cutting up wood. All right. Guess I'll be going through this. Let's see. All right, the wild woods. There's some enemies in here to fight, obviously. Yeah, that's a sea charm. All right, this we already have a healing right there. Okay. Hello there, Sonny. Good to see you. I just glanced there for a moment. Hey, just got here. What are you playing? I saw you playing this last week. Yes, and this is a game that I play on the show. I've been playing this one on the show for a long time now. Of since I've done the lives, it's a different level within the game. Of by the way, games called Pirates of the Caribbean Online, the Legend of Pirates Online, rather. Yeah. So yeah, it's something that I've done, traditionally throughout the show's history. Yeah, yeah, and well, that's cool. He likes that, and this is a. I don't know if I showed you this part of it, which actually in recent times I've been playing the trials, reacting the trials, and recently I came back to the game. So yeah, that's it's the Legend of Pirates Online. It was based off the. Hello, Eugene. Good evening to you. It was based off of the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. Disney had an original version, but the original version went away because they were working on something else and people were upset over it, so they created a new version, like fan made version of it. It's nearly identical to it. And this you know there's different all kinds of different places here. This is a cave. There's different it's kind of like levels, but it's like a giant virtual world based off of the those islands. They have a volcano island, a couple of different places, and the high seas adventure where you go and attack ships, things of that nature. And I think last time I showed you Raven's Cove, it was this a haunted island. This is the more lighter levels. It's a cave, and on the pirate island, there's other islands that aren't pirate islands. They're just regular islands that are not pirate oriented. Oh, hello, Glow Skird. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. All right. Yeah. Oh, hello, Moki. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. I hope that you're having a good day. Everything okay? Yeah. So these caves were used for mining different resources, different products like gold, silver, diamonds, etc. Of and then you have these different troopers that were like guarding it, but they're in conspiracy with Jolly Roger, which is this ghost of demon pirate thing, and he's kind of like he's kind of like Epstein in the game, and he's the villain, and he has like these, he's in conspiracy with the he's in these governments. So there's like the government that runs the island, and he's in conspiracy with the other pirates as well, the zombie ones. Right. So in this type of scenario, the pirates are the good characters. Moly, moly, moly. Oh, a shout out to the typos. Yeah. So that's how it works. I could show you Jolly Roger. He's on one. I think he's on this island somewhere of like a virtual reality. The fat thumbs. Yeah. There's and one of the things is that back when I was growing up like a teenager, I played the original game, but and I had played this other one. These were from Disney. It was Toontown was another one. They worked on my computer. That was something I knew that worked on my computer, which I have a good computer, and certain ones work on this one, and others don't because of the operating system. But of course, I like multiple operating systems, but this is just like when I was growing up. It's when I played with, but of course, I played other games and other computers too. Like I played the Lord of the Rings game. That was good. Briefly, World of Warcraft. Briefly, that's a very good game, by the way. But I mainly liked this one. Oh, I'm glad to have you all here. Right. Yeah, the other one I played was Toontown, and Toontown was a game where you have these businessmen and lawyers and bankers, and they're depicted as these cogs, these kind of like these enemies, and then the Toontown characters are silly characters, like cartoons, and they throw pies at and gags at those enemy characters because they're trying to make Toontown into like a corporate entity rather than something fun and creative. And that was very good graphics. I like that game. Mermaid, my friend here, who's also on the channel, she does official pools. Mermaid, she does all kinds of games of based on pools, which is very cool games I've never even like thought of or seen before. So, uh, those games, it's like a pool room, and you walk around it, and you hear noises and stuff, and there's some entity in there, but you can't exactly see it. Sometimes there are games where something chases you, but it's mostly just like atmospheric, which I think it's a cool concept to have a game where you're just doing basic things rather than fighting something. So yeah, that was something I learned recently. And there's okay, we are back. Okay, so I am back. I went out for a second, but I'm back on. Okay, here I am. So as I was saying, back when I was uh, coming up with the before I was getting really more back into YouTube, I played this game. I said, okay, so when I did my live streams in the beginning part, while people came in, so not everyone gets here right away. Oh, hello, Lori. It's so great to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Lori says, oh, just been busy. Just had dealing with a lot. Hope all is well. Oh, all is well. Thank you for asking. Uh, we've been going down rabbit holes and playing the game, etc. And so yeah, that's what I and I had a whole crew. There's this guild in the game. In this game, there are guilds you can play with. Like it's a group of people working together, and with the guild, of I would go with them. We would attack other ships and do quests together. And this was back in 2019. Now, then around the time of the plague, the alleged plague that happened in 2020, the other computer went out, and then eventually I got the other one, which is this one, and the other one was old. And most of the guild is not active anymore. One of them came online last year, but it's just mainly me, and I always had experience with the piloting of the ships, which I'm good at. So then I decided to play this game in the beginning, and I will do other games too as I'm looking into them. Uh, but this has always been the like tradition in the beginning part of the game. So, uh, and a lot of people like it. Okay, Lori says I saw a photo of a white cat named Yeti. When I was at the dispensary today, it made me think of Bubbles and Space Yeti. Oh. Yeah, that's it must be their cousin. Yeah, it must be a cousin of them. Yeah, that would cause me to think of Bubbles too and Space Yeti. Okay, so the Space Yeti is this emoji I created right here. Moki has a cow cat named Birdie. All right, so this is the Space Yeti, and the origins of the Space Yeti. Last year, it snowed in my city, which is it happens, but it's rare. And I did a live in the snow, and the chat was there, and we all had a good time. It was wild. It was so much snow. It was some part of the yard. It was like 20 inches. That was really crazy. It was a fun stream. And it looked like a winter wonderland, like a forest, like a winter forest. Really was nice. So there's a point where I was going to show one of our friends hasn't been here in a while, Sarah, and she was she came in, and another Amanda that hasn't been here in a while, but she's doing all right. Uh, they were like talking in the chat, and I was showing Sarah the different regions of the yard because they weren't always. Sometimes people come here and they'll be gone for a while, then they come back. And yeah, Bubbles, Space Yeti. Yeah. So that's what they were conversating, and I was showing her around, and I was going to show a different part of the yard where there was some elephant ear plants that were frozen, and the phone went out. Hello, Brian. Good to see you, buddy. And so it looks like Oblivion. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh, and welcome to the stream. Yeah, that is what occurred with the snow stream. The phone went out, and they in the chat was saying that the Space Yeti's got me. That's what Sarah said. So I created a Space Yeti picture and made a sound effect, like a soundtrack about it. It's like some instrumental about it. And they told me of, they liked the song, and it was just like an instrumental, like space type of sound effects I make. And Sarah said whenever I get the monetization part activated to make a Space Yeti emoji, and I did. That's where the Space Yeti originates from. Because over here we'll like invent different characters, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's a bat, a nefarious bat, right there. Okay. Oki says I have a big fat orange and white cat who was supposedly feral, but he's my little baby. While old Birdie is mean as a snake, and she never even been outside fending for herself. Oh, scared. Yeah, mean as a snake. It's a snake-eyed cat, right there. See, look, I'm on fire. Okay, so this region was supposed to be a nice village, but the Jolly Roger, and you see these little rats right here, these zombie pirates, they're the ones that burnt it down. And see, they're all jumping and they're all happy that they're burning stuff down. My feral cat looks at little princess cat like, you are so spoiled if you only knew, or at least that's how I imagine it. Yeah, yeah, spoiled cat. Doesn't know the struggles. Right. She doesn't know the struggles, that's what I say. And going this route, this direction. Let's go here. All right, this is the graveyard part. I think, as I said, in this, that's where Jolly Roger is. It's a hologram of him. It was kind of surprising when I first saw it. There's a hologram of this dude right here. Yes, this is the pirate game that I play, but it's on land right now. We're not over in the sea. All right, so that's Jolly Roger right there. That dude who's lurking right there. That's his hologram. He's the one that's like kind of like an Epstein type character, and he has influence over the government, the British government that was running the island, and he had these zombie pirates that attack the other regions of the sea. Yeah, it's always the pirate game. Right. And yeah, so that is him. And okay, and that is a candle right there. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, that is mapping out basically the entire graveyard of this more of a lighter level island. Okay. Oh, okay, Eugene. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of Sea of Thieves. It's a I've not played. I don't think I played that one before. No, I could have, but it was not often. All right, there's Cubas in this game, but it's like a much more primitive version of it from a long time ago. Let's see, right there. Okay. I always like these the sky, and yeah, Eugene. When I would know you from the when I met you in the beginning, is that we have when I would be on the different streams I'd watch Eugene, I'd watch them outside during the evening time, and the sky would look just like that, like in the summer. It was very cool. So it's I like it when the sky looks like it in the game. Mm-hmm. My tinfoil hat wearing brain is equally excited and blown with Epstein and aliens finally, but people will still dismiss it. Yes, and the both Trump and Obama were talking about the aliens, and Trump's going to release information about it, which I'm glad that they're going to be releasing it, and I'm interested in both topics. I think they're both important. There's all kinds of different theories about what aliens are exactly, and I think it's good to discuss what they could be. And so they're going to do a file dump at some point about the alien files that of UFOs, UAPs, extraterrestrials. They're going to have more confirmation about that. All right, and Oki says people are you saying that aliens are a distraction from Epstein? I think Epstein's a distraction from aliens. Yeah, and definitely they wouldn't. Both are very high stakes topics, and I think that they would want to try to divert people away from aliens, and some people might think they want to divert from Epstein, but I think that people want to we would call know about both things. So I think that it might be more of a dumping of files of all kinds of different things that are being talked about. Where they're gonna talk, they release the Epstein files, and they're gonna release the alien files, and they'll release maybe MK Ultra files, more of them, or they'll release some other conspiracies. So I think that it might just be a domino effect of different files being released. So, well, yeah, there are going to be people that are going to be thinking it's going to be a distraction from this or from that. And a lot of times in the political hemisphere, people think that aliens are a distraction from what else is going on. So we could talk about what's a distraction from what, but I think it might just be a big file dump of various things. But yeah, definitely they don't want people to realize the truth of aliens, and you'll believe it when you see it. Oh, okay. Uh, we will help you out with that one. So, so well timed, which makes you go, hmm. And then Brian says maybe it's all a distraction from Iran, and maybe Iran's a distraction from of the wars in Africa. It may be a domino effect of distractions. Scared. But yeah, but in Iran, there's going to be allegedly some war of some uh, fighting going on between Iran, or some nuclear deals. Yeah. Now, my perspective is there could be distractions, but I think it's all just a cluster of things that's happening all at once. And there's going to be file dumps, like a domino effect of file dumps, and there is conflicts going here and there. But it's interesting to ponder, like, are they trying to distract us from Epstein or aliens or both? Or are they trying to distract us all from Iran? Or is there something going on in Africa or in South America? Like, for instance, there's the Venezuela thing they've not talked about in a while. Is it that too? It could be a variety of different things. It could be distracting from. So, but it does make you wonder, because that when they want to divert people's attention from something to another. Yeah, I remember they're talking about drones and ETs, etc. Oh, Aaron, good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, so there has been, you know, a rabbit hole of pondering different information about what could be this, what could be that, regarding the information that's coming out. Oh, hello, mermaid. And mermaid said, or it's just the end times, and we all should finally accept it. I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah, and many civilizations believed Trump will announce that his hair is indeed an alien. His hair an alien. Yeah, I was going. And we are supposed to lose gravity. Oh yeah, yeah. There was something that I was being shown about where we're supposed to lose gravity, and I'll go and explain. Oh, it's been a lot. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to all of you here. Appreciate every single one of you. Okay. And yeah, that's something that we're supposed to lose gravity for a few seconds or so when the Earth does something. We'll be able to float for a moment. Uh, that's apparently going to be coming up, which I'll be explaining to you all. There's something I saw earlier too, where Ellen DeGeneres was telling Weinstein and everyone else to donate to buy some pizza, but the pizza is a code word for children, so allegedly, so that was something very sus of them to say. Moki said, "Pretty sure I'll be in my house." Yes, Mermaid. I do think that they're the fallen watchers that are disguising themselves as different entities. Now, we have recently seen Smoky and I were watching a doc recently about them being allegedly time travelers from 56,000 years from now, which is possible, but they still could be. The alien thing didn't work, so they're gonna say they're time travelers now. Like they're changing the story over and over again. But that was a new theory that some of them may be time travelers, which is an interesting concept. And I'm open to all ideas, but I do think there are some that could be suspicious entities. But at the same time, it's that was something pretty cool to see that it's a version of us from the future that got distorted. Now, the Bible does talk about these frog spirits, these three frog spirits, and they resemble the gray aliens. That's what they're apparently looking like. So that's what I think they are possibly could be referencing to the Greys. Okay, hey Zero. Yeah, send me the email. Maybe there's in Zero. Thanks for the coverage on the solar pulses that were hitting the planet and helping our spaceship run smoothly. Zero helps run the spaceship and ordering supplies and stuff. Where the say we're like on a spaceship, right, in the vast void of space, and he'll go on these quests to order more shipments and supplies for the crew. Right. So when gravity gets wonky, I'll just hit the ceiling and I'll be okay, I think. It'll just be a light tap. Right. Yeah. Scared. Okay. Thank you, Zero. I got the link. I got the email. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we are going to lose gravity. All right. All right. Come on. All right. I'm going to show you all a video from Zero. I'll react to right now. Okay, so shout out to the game. Understood, Brian. We got you. We got you. And it's good that you are defending yourself against anything that could be not true. So I appreciate you being open to it if you see it. All right. And so going here now, we're going to go into the rabbit hole of information. All right. And by the way, I do have other games to play for y'all, but that's always going to be a classic on the channel. Okay, so Zero said the thing is supposed to happen in August because of two black holes colliding where the wave reaches sometime in August. Is false news. Okay, thank you, Zero. Now we're going to go here. Oh yeah, this dude's a good channel, by the way. And put this channel link into the chat because it's a cool channel. He covers things with the solar flares, etc. Alright, so now we're going to switch over to this window when there's nothing there, but there's actually something here. It's going to be this. And then we're going to go that way. And here we go. I'll put myself like right here.
Here, the rate of disclosure is increasing exponentially right now, and that shouldn't come as a surprise. We have the great conjunction of Saturn and Neptune occurring today, February 20th of 2026, a once in 36-year planetary alignment that is very well connected to the themes that are unfolding right now at the societal level. And really, there's too much to count. We have the release of the Epstein files, and that's a very, very dark place. We have a potential war brewing between the United States and Iran. This is something that's well connected to the Saturn-Neptune cycle, this dissolution of boundaries at the global scale, and then the reformatting of countries. For example, Russia, Iran, they're well connected to that planetary resonance. Just in the past 24 hours, we had the President of the United States, Donald Trump, discuss releasing all the information that the government has on aliens and UFO and secret programs to the public. And well, just about a week before that, less than that, we had Obama discussing aliens, saying that they're real. Take all this with a grain of salt, right? There's so much deception and subterfuge that's done nowadays, psychic warfare and psyops and everything, that you can't look at this just like straight and be like, oh, that's 100% what it is, right? The conspiracy theorists have effectively been right all along. Um, but
Yeah, exactly. You see, a lot of times the conspiracy theories were just previews into something that was true. Now, remember, some conspiracy theories are not true. Some could be hoax. Some could be misinterpreted, etc. So I do accept that. But most of them, or a lot of them, are true. And yeah, stories are beyond grows week by week. It gets worse. Yep, that's true, Mermaid. Yeah, I'm ready for the flood. Amen, Mogi. And Zero says something about losing gravity for 6-8 seconds and half gravity, then snapping back to regular gravity a few years later. Ah, okay. Here we go.
the other big development is that we had prominent astrophysicist at Caltech, Carl Grimmer, murdered on his front porch. And so he was researching into celestial mechanics, and he was researching into asteroids and impacts and things of that nature. He was murdered. This comes less than 2 months after the homicide.
Hello, true crime. It's been a while. Welcome to the chat. Yes, and yeah, he was. Yeah, so Obama was on a podcast and he was saying aliens are real. He was like, definitely, it's real. And then like Trump's like, bro, you released the classified information, and he's like, oh, now hold on, I got this. He's like, of all the billions of galaxies out there, there is something out there, and he said, you know what? To help Obama, we're going to release all the files because the public is interested in this. Now, I will say, I like, although that they're feuding and they have lots of schisms here and there, that was like cool to see both of them talk about it and then it's being released. And now at the same time, people that talk about distractions, I'm watching everything, watching Iran, Epstein, this and that, and the other thing. So I think it's just all a cluster of interesting information to discuss without being just too focused on one or the other. But of course, we do like go, oh, this is aliens. Okay, this is Epstein, etc. And then Illuminati, the Freemasons. Yeah, and also the Skull and Bones and the other cults as well. Obama seems to care a lot about aliens all of a sudden. I know, and some people think that he wanted to be the first one to disclose the aliens before Trump did. Some people think that. And it's like they're, say, kids getting to the, trying to cut the line first. It's kind of funny. Well, I'm glad that presidents and world leaders are taking interest in these aliens, because back in the past, even like 10 years ago, the alien concept was seen as a silly thing. I mean, I'm glad to see more people interested in it than before. My dad was Mason. I was a rainbow. I have the rituals still. Okay. Okay. So I'm sure that you know a lot about. So you know a lot about what goes on with them. Okay. Understood. And there are all kinds of secrets of. I have someone I'm related to was in it as well. Someone I'm distantly related to was in it. But none of my immediate family members were in it, but one of my distant family members was in it. But of course, that's not, my immediate family isn't into it. But yeah, the doesn't mean everybody that's involved is doing something, but I do think that it's an interesting thing to study because there are some different conspiracies about it, including things of the Skull and Bones is another one, and other societies we don't even hear about. So yeah, we definitely go down the rabbit hole here about those different groups, cults, etc. And all that's being released and out in the public so people can see what's going on and discuss the different opinions. And True Crime says, no, Masons don't tell us their secrets, not even their daughters. Yeah, that is true. So with the Masons, my cousin did research into it, and yeah, they are very secretive and they don't tell what they're talking about. They usually keep it to themselves. And I know of sometimes allegedly, my cousin was able to get some information somehow. Allegedly was that they'll do a handshake, some sort of different handshake, and they'll talk in code to each other. And I think they have to like renounce everything and swear allegiance to their oath of their organization, etc. But and doesn't mean, as I said, my cousin doesn't think everyone involved in it is into these things, but higher ups maybe could be or whatever. It's kind of like a mystery, but definitely I think there are things going on with that. But there's someone I know, a friend of mine that I grew up with, who's into Masons, and he was telling me that yeah he wouldn't tell any secrets about it, but that they would give him anything he needed, like clothes. He give them whatever they need, food, water, a place to live, and he didn't deny that there could be something up with the Masons, but there's also other organizations we don't hear about that are really bad too. But he didn't deny about the conspiracies. But he was just like, there could be other things too. And True Crime says, and I was never allowed in their altar room. Oh, yeah. So they didn't even let you into the altar room or tell you anything. Okay. They will only disclose the basics, not the timeline stuff or timelines. Yeah. So there was this uh, time travel that we were talking about yesterday. There's a conspiracy of time travel that they were talking to us. We were talking about yesterday, and Project Looking Glass. I think that's what it's called. What that is this alien technology that can see the future, past, and present. They have this technology where you could time travel. So in theory, if you take these giant turbines, and you spin them around uh, with nuclear power so fast, it'll create a window, a light, and you can see the past or the future by defying the light speed. That is a theory that and there's an alien tablet with information about their interpretation of Jesus, their interpretation of different world events, the history of the planet, what we were before the Earth was there, etc. Those are things that Project Looking Glass talks about, which they may not disclose. Time travel, etc., is kind of far off for people to fathom. Most Masons are Scottish Rites and Shriners as well. Yes, yes, that's true. I know about the Scottish Rite. Um, oh yes, you've known a few. Okay. Yeah, yeah, the flux capacitor. You know what I'm. Yeah, uh, and basically coming back from the future can be like a light speed, faster than light speed. Coming back from the future can make one hungry. Yeah. Okay. Ah, okay. So, True Crime says they also have a death ritual. It was something to do with a apron. Oh, okay, okay, that understood. That makes sense from what I've researched. Not heard anything specific like that, but okay, thank you. And I have this research that I did about the Masons. They have tools and stuff. So the original Masons were people that built castles, cathedrals, etc., and made a clan out of it. And then thought that they were the descendants of Solomon's temple. Now King Solomon, a lot of magic stuff comes from him, where God allegedly permitted. I say allegedly because I don't know uh, if he could have been deceived. He was deceived at times, King Solomon, in my opinion. But a lot of the Eugene says 1.21 gigawatts. Yeah. All right. So you have this thing where, let's see oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Masons, Solomon, right? He was given a ring with a symbol on it, the Solomon seal, which as we know is the Star of David, and he was able to control the demons to build the temple, but it was for God's purpose. It was not for a demonic reason. It was for God was allowing him to have power over the forces of darkness to build a temple for the Lord. And so the temple was the UFOs and alien, probably something like that, because they had advanced technology going back to Egypt, etc. But Solomon was able to get this thing constructed, and sometimes Solomon wanted to consult spirits of the dead, and this witch was like, you're not supposed to be doing this. Like this dark witch was like, dude, you're not supposed to be doing this. supposed to be a godly king. So even like a witchcraft witch was like, bro, like, are you serious? And he talked to the person from the past, and the dude was even like, why are you doing this? Why did you wake me up? So you're not supposed to be doing that. And so God can allow things, even if it wasn't his entire plan. But Solomon was the one that was into a lot of that magic stuff, and then it Nosferatu Orlok of what's his name, Count Dracula, right? Which Nosferatu is a German silent uh, romanticized film that they would make. They used to make these very artistic, expressive, uh, silent films. Okay, I am back on. I am back on. So I went out for a second, but here I am. Anyway, now I'm going to go here, and there's something going on where I have too many things open, and I do this all the time. I'll have all these windows open, and it'll cause a problem. So uh, I appreciate the patience. So now we are just closing out all windows. Anyway, the concept of I'm out again. It seems okay. I am out. Okay, and going here. Oh no, I'm back on. I'm back on. Okay, good. Anyway, okay, Brian. Have a good evening. Thank you for coming to the stream. And all right, but yeah, as I said, I'm still going. I'm still going. So the thing with the okay, he's out again. Like a piston. Okay, and then it's gonna come back. Let's close this out. Let's just bookmark it. Bookmark this. All right. Yeah, but anyway, with Orlok the vampire, of he, the school of thought that the Orlok the vampire came from. Yeah. Okay. Closing out this window. Wow. Closing out this window. Closing out that one. Okay, and let's go here. Update. And closing that out. Okay, everything has been closed, so I am back. All right, everybody, let's continue. Basically, what happened with the vampire is that Orlok was part of a school of thought that originated from King Solomon's magic studies. As I said, King Solomon was a troubled king, but he wasn't necessarily evil, though. But he was just he was troubled. So yeah, so Count Orlok, the fictional vampire based off Count Dracula as well, may have learned magic from Solomon. So the thing is about the Masons and these different organizations originate from Solomon's temple, right? And that's where they get these occultic ideas from. And as I said, humans, we all can make mistakes and fall into error. And that's what occurred with some of this magical stuff. It was maybe people weren't supposed to know about or do these things, but they came across it. Anyway, now, yeah, that is where these different groups come from, and then they have Aleister Crowley, which was another occultist I talk about a lot. He was more modern, and he kind of pioneered this new age identity. There was also revolutions in Europe, etc., socialism, different things like that, that came up with a free thought too. And a lot of stuff came from the French philosophers. So a combination of all these things is where it came together the way it is. Now there are good ones and bad ones, but the darker, like occultic stuff, like the ritual sacrifice, there's endochrome in children apparently, and people in general and young people, and they want to harvest on it, kind of like a vampire drinking blood. That because the vampire is getting that vitamin in from the endochrome. So that is just kind of like a summary of those different conspiracies, for everybody. Okay, and Lori said, "What gets me is how many times Earth's magnetic field has reversed, yet no one living memory has experienced it. Are we due for one?" In my opinion, I think we are. Yeah, because it's bound to be a cycle, like an orbiting cycle, and it's bound to happen at some point. I just don't know when it would be, but yeah, I think that we would certainly be due for another one. So basically, according to the internet, is that oh, okay, okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Zero. I will go look into that to see what the problem is. Okay, thank you. Okay, and so to like an old Chinese movie. All right, to and statistically we are overdue, but geologically we. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going. Okay, I'm here. All right. Oh, YouTube took away the buffering emoji. That's funny. Okay. Yep. Oh, there's the buffering emoji. That's good. Okay, so let's do this again, and we'll continue to react to the video. Okay. Let's go here.
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan.
All right. Y'all gonna see it in a moment. Let's go here. All right. Hello, Shell. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. I hope that you are everything's well with you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we're talking about a couple of different things that are going on. All right. So now we will continue about right here. Let's go.
My dreams have been really, really crazy and vivid and just.
Oops,
horizon left, because it'll take Saturn about a year and a half to separate that 15 degrees from Neptune. So we're in the thick of it right now. Perhaps you've been noticing that. I just discussed a lot of world events and things, but maybe you have been feeling it. I know personally, my dreams have been really, really crazy and vivid and just super, super memorable over the past week, and actually going back further than that, but really the past week has been quite intense. And I woke up this morning with quite a few insights that I had from my dreams. And one of them was that this wave, this first wave of kind of psychic activation and consciousness, is the first of a crescendoing sequence of waves that will come in. So this isn't likely to just basically finish up in the next week or so. I think that this is going to continue. And the other feeling that I have is that we are going to start seeing more of a merging between material reality and higher dimensional reality, which would include like the astral realm and 5D reality, right? There's, of course, multiple dimensions across our universe and reality. We live in a three-dimensional realm. Maybe people watching this at least are in a three-dimensional realm. But that doesn't mean that there aren't energies and entities and consciousness that exist in higher dimensional realms. And that intertwining of them is likely to increase as we go forward. I think we're going to start seeing more overlap between the astral realm and our current reality, and then also fifth dimensional reality. Crazy as this sounds, this is, I think, what's going to happen. This is what I think. Now, what actually happens, we'll find out. But we're seeing already this blurring of boundaries, and that's very Saturn-Neptune. Saturn is boundaries and limits and structure, and Neptune is this dissolving agent, and at the same time, Saturn is a manifesting agent because it is connected to material reality, and Neptune is this great ocean of consciousness and ideas and more, and so Saturn is manifesting a lot of things that have been floating around in this Neptunian ocean for not just the past 14 years, which is Neptune's last transit, but all of its cycles. This is a very, very big planetary resonance that is unfolding at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, LOL chat. LOL. Yeah, so yeah, he's basically saying about the way the different planets are and how it will pertain to this Earth in his theory. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Where with all this stuff, okay. And now continuing.
Time. So a lot to cover in today's video, and with that, let's jump right into it. We'll begin by looking at this great conjunction of Saturn and Neptune using Stellarium, which is a program which allows us to see what's happening in the sky, the position of the planets, the sun, constellations, and more. So you see that I've already plotted the ecliptic plane and the constellations as well as their labels, but I still have the ground and the sky on. Let me turn the atmosphere off. You'll then see this alignment of planets that we have. We have Mars here, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Moon. Well, it's a conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. So if we zoom in, all of a sudden you'll see Neptune appear. It doesn't show up initially because now at the societal.
All right, I will start all over. I thought we covered that part, but I'll start over. Okay. Thank you, Zero. And chat.
February 20th of 2026, a once in 36-year planetary alignment that is very well connected to the themes that are unfolding right now at the societal level. And really, there's too much to count. We have the release of the Epstein files, and that's a very, very dark place. We have a potential war brewing between the United States and Iran. This is something that's well connected to the Saturn-Neptune cycle, this dissolution of boundaries at the global scale, and then the reformatting of countries. For example, Russia, Iran, they're well connected to that planetary resonance. Just in the past 24 hours, we had the President of the United States, Donald Trump, discuss releasing all the information that the government has on aliens and UFO and secret programs to the public. And well, just about a week before that, less than that, we had Obama discussing aliens, saying that they're real. Take all this with a grain of salt, right? There's so much deception and subterfuge that's done nowadays, psychic warfare and psyops and everything, that you can't look at this just like straight and be like, oh, that's 100% what it is, right? The conspiracy theorists have effectively been right all along. But the other big development is that we had prominent astrophysicist at Caltech, Carl Grimmer, murdered on his front porch. And so he was researching into celestial mechanics, and he was researching into asteroids and impacts and things of that nature. He was murdered. This comes less than 2 months after the homicide of a prominent plasma physicist at MIT, Nuno Loureiro. That was back in December of 2025. And so 2 is not a trend. 3, 4, or 5 would be. So we'll see if we have similar unfortunate events unfold across time. But all this is related to Saturn, Neptune, and right now we're in the thick of it. If you go by a 15-degree orb of separation between the planets, which is what Richard Tarnas recommends in terms of understanding their complete influence across time, then we are right now in the middle, but still quite a long time horizon left, because it'll take Saturn about a year and a half to separate that 15 degrees from Neptune. So we're in the thick of it right now. Perhaps you've been noticing that. I just discussed a lot of world events and things, but maybe you have been feeling it. I know personally, my dreams have been really, really crazy and vivid and just super, super memorable over the past week, and actually going back further than that, but really the past week has been quite intense. And I woke up this morning with quite a few insights that I had from my dreams. And one of them was that this wave, this first wave of kind of psychic activation and consciousness, is the first of a crescendoing sequence of waves that will come in. So this isn't likely to just basically finish up in the next week or so. I think that this is going to continue. And the other feeling that I have is that we are going to start seeing more of a merging between material reality and higher dimensional reality, which would include like the astral realm and 5D reality, right? There's, of course, multiple dimensions across our universe and reality. We live in a three-dimensional realm. Maybe people watching this at least are in a three-dimensional realm. But that doesn't mean that there aren't energies and entities and consciousness that exist in higher dimensional realms. And that intertwining of them is likely to increase as we go forward. I think we're going to start seeing more overlap between the astral realm and our current reality, and then also fifth dimensional reality. Crazy as this sounds, this is, I think, what's going to happen. This is what I think. Now, what actually happens, we'll find out. But we're seeing already this blurring of boundaries, and that's very Saturn-Neptune.
Yeah, so blurring Saturn and Neptune, the boundaries are blurring, and it's causing this thing to come across. So yeah, that's basically a good way how he's explaining the effects of this certain alignments that are happening. And those physicists that are getting deleted, very suspicious. They always like to silence people. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. This dude does very Stefan, very good channel, and very informative.
Saturn is boundaries and limits and structure, and Neptune is this dissolving agent. And at the same time, Saturn is a manifesting agent because it is connected to material reality. And Neptune is this great ocean of consciousness and ideas and more. And so Saturn is manifesting a lot of things that have been floating around in this Neptunian ocean for not just the past 14 years, which is Neptune's last transit, but all of its cycles. This is a very, very big planetary resonance that is unfolding at this moment in time. So a lot to cover in today's video, and with that, let's jump right into it. We'll begin by looking at this great conjunction of Saturn and Neptune using Stellarium, which is a program which allows us to see what's happening in the sky, the position of the planets, the sun, constellations, and more. So you see that I've already plotted the ecliptic plane and the constellations as well as their labels, but I still have the ground and the sky on. Let me turn the atmosphere off. You'll then see this alignment of planets that we have. We have Mars here, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Moon. Well, it's a conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. So if we zoom in, all of a sudden you'll see Neptune appear. It doesn't show up initially because it's quite faint as compared to the inner planets, but we see Saturn and Neptune there in conjunction, and this is looking from the Earth. So this is a geocentric view. They are right now perfectly aligned in the constellation of Pisces. This does not occur that often. It's a once in 36-year event, and we will have all these planets and the sun move over them in short order. So that's the other aspect to this, is that this conjunction is not occurring on the other side of the sky where the sun is, because of course Venus and Mercury always stay close to the sun. Mars doesn't have to, but often it is, right? It's occurring very close to where all these planets are. So they're doing this conjunction, and then in just a month's time, we could go forward here. We will see that they're going to pass effectively over that point. So here's Saturn, and Neptune is going to be just nearby. Again, it's not going to be exactly as close as it was last time, but we see it right here. There's Neptune, but we're going to have all the move over. There's Venus, Mars will follow up behind, and Mercury, having done a retrograde, eventually will swing forward as well. So the inner planets are connected more to our daily life, and then the outer planets are more structuring of the larger cycles of time, consciousness, and therefore of what happens at the societal level, the cultural level, and what happens and actually becomes history. So we're likely to see an acceleration of things as the sun, which represents our consciousness, and these inner planets, which represent different aspects of our being, move over it. And so that's why I think this is very much just the first wave of an increasing crescendo sequence of waves of this sort of energy rolling in. Now, make of this what you will. This could very well be a psyop. It's certainly a distraction from what's happening with the Epstein files. That could potentially be partly a psyop. Like, don't put anything past these people. All of it's a show. But we do here have, basically some indication that we could start seeing a release of information as it relates to aliens and UFOs and UAP and more by the United States government. So it's been a long time coming. A lot of people have been discussing this. A really prominent person who's been discussing this is Dan Waits at World Astrology Report and linking this to the Saturn-Neptune cycle and basically right on time for this conjunction it's occurring. So really look at this, right? February 20th. So that's exactly when this conjunction is occurring. So these people know what's up with these planetary cycles. If you need proof of it, there it is. I mean, Dan's been talking about this for years now at World Astrology Report. And here we get this, post the day of the conjunction. So make of that what you will, but this is just the first sequence. Remember, a conjunction is the seed point for a cycle. So you often have really powerful events occur with a conjunction, and that defines the entire cycle, certainly. It's the most powerful type of planetary alignment in general, but it's also a seed that will then manifest over the next.
I didn't think about the planetary cycles and how it had something to do with this, hypothetically. That's a very good point. And Lori said others have tried. Hopefully Trump will be able to do it. I mean, we know already. Yeah, absolutely. We will see. And we do know.
36 years. So as we have Saturn reach its sextile and then square and trine to Neptune, we're going to see more developments with this. We'll see a big development with the opposition, and then you'll get eventually. But it's also a seed that will then powerful type of planetary alignment in general, but it's also a seed that will then manifest over the next 36 years. So as we have Saturn reach its sextile and then square and trine to Neptune, we're going to see more developments with this. We'll see a big development with the opposition, and then you'll get eventually another conjunction and a renewal of the cycle that will incorporate elements from the last one. It's quite complex. Dan breaks it down a lot. I recommend you go to his channel and subscribe and follow along if you're into this stuff. The other thing that happened around this time, which is troubling, is the fact that we had our astrophysicist friend at Caltech, Carl Grimmer, get murdered. And this news is just breaking. He led projects at Hubble and Spitzer telescopes, discovered multiple stellar streams in the Milky Way, earned a NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal, and he was also researching into asteroids and impacts and more. And well, we have Apophis coming.
Oh yeah, Lori, one of my friends was telling me he was eating some of that the other day. Scared. Yeah, an alien in your intestinal tract. Yep, absolutely. And Zero says, we're affected by magnets and gravitational forces, of course. The planets affect our thoughts and action. Now that is only beginning. You have to understand what is in you and what other things are beings. Thank you, Zero. Very good information. Excellent information.
Coming in 2029. Remember that. So, there could be some information there that we're not aware of. It's a very close flyby regardless. That just came in, and we have this following up on the murder of Nuno Loureiro, who was discussing and researching into plasma physics and specifically looking at plasma turbulence, because these sort of fusion reactors, that's exactly when this conjunction is occurring. So these people know what's up with these planetary cycles. If you need proof of it, there it is. I mean, Dan's been talking about this for years now at World Astrology Report. And here we get this, post the day of the conjunction. So make of that what you will, but this is just the first sequence. Remember, a conjunction is the seed point for a cycle. So you often have really powerful events occur with a conjunction, And that defines the entire cycle, certainly. It's the most powerful type of planetary alignment in general, but it's also a seed that will then manifest over the next 36 years. So as we have Saturn reach its sextile and then square and trine to Neptune, we're going to see more developments with this. We'll see a big development with the opposition, and then you'll get eventually another conjunction and a renewal of the cycle that will incorporate elements from the last one. It's quite complex. Dan breaks it down a lot. I recommend you go to his channel and subscribe and follow along if you're into this stuff. The other thing that happened around this time, which is troubling, is the fact that we had our astrophysicist friend at Caltech, Carl Grimmer, get murdered, and this news is just breaking. He led projects at Hubble and Spitzer telescopes, discovered multiple stellar streams in the Milky Way, earned a NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal, and yeah, he was also researching into asteroids and impacts and more. And well, we have Apophis coming in 2029. Remember that. So you know, there could be some information there that we're not aware of. It's a very close flyby regardless. That just came in, and we have this following up on the murder of Nuno Loureiro, who was discussing and researching into plasma physics and specifically looking at plasma turbulence. Because these sort of fusion reactors, which a lot of people are building now, their main problem is that they can't get plasma to cooperate. Plasma has a mind of its own, it's conscious, has a mind of its own, doesn't like to just stay easily confined and basically just do nothing. And get molded around. It's always undergoing these kink instabilities, and effectively physicist friend at Caltech, Carl Grimmer, get murdered, and this news is just breaking. He led projects at Hubble and Spitzer telescopes, discovered multiple stellar streams in the Milky Way, earned a NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal, and yeah, he was also researching into asteroids and impacts and more. And well, we have Apophis coming in 2029. Remember that. So, there could be Apophis coming in 2029.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Zero. Earthwatch YouTube channel thinks Atlas is a mothership with a small craft around it, but I don't know. Oh, over here we have theorized that the Atlas is some sort of... Okay, there has been theories by physicists that it could be some sort of spacecraft, some mothership or a drone ship, that the way its trajectory is, the way it's angled, different things of that nature, it could be heading towards Earth. It could be some sort of alien craft, allegedly, but it's just very ancient or disguised a certain way to look like something else. In my opinion, it could be. On April 13, 2029, the asteroid, I'm going to say the whole thing, but I don't need to, 99942 Apophis will make an exceptionally close flyby of Earth, passing with approximately 32,000 kilometers, 20,000 miles of the surface. This distance is closer than many geostationary satellites and makes the closest approach by 20,000 miles of surface. This distance is closer than many geostationary satellites and marks the closest approach by an asteroid of the size of 375 meters in recent and recorded history. Safety: NASA and ESA have confirmed that there is zero chance of an impact during 2029. Flyby: in fact, Apophis has been removed from planetary risk list for at least the next 100 years. Visibility: for a few hours, the asteroid will be visible to naked eye in clear, dark skies for about 2 billion people across Europe, Africa, and parts of Asia. It will appear as a pointing point of light moving roughly the width of a full moon every minute. Physical effects: Earth's gravity is expected to physically affect the asteroid, potentially causing an asteroid quakes or changes in its spin state. Because this event is one in a millennium, opportunity for multiple space agencies are launching missions to study it. Okay, and let's go here. Yeah, this will be interesting to see in the next few years. All right, these are some conspiracies about it. The biblical prophecy in the wormhole. Okay, so Zero says the surface of Friyay Atlas is a rock from farther out than OORT cloud. Its actions are similar to those of interstellar object. We have detection, clarifying the object not originally from our solar system may experience different laws of physics than we do. Okay. Oh, understood. Zero. Thank you. All right. So biblical prophecy wormwood. A popular religious theory identifies Apophis as wormwood, the greater star described in Revelation 8:11. It claims some end times authors argue that asteroids will strike Earth on April 13, 29. Now, look, there doesn't mean that's going to happen. There's been a lot of prophecies of things that haven't happened yet. But allegedly, it's something could hit Earth as a global trigger event that leads to the rise of the Antichrist, start a great tribulation. And some think it's an alien virus. One specific theory suggests the asteroid carries an alien microorganism will unleash a virus far more deadly than the COOF 19 upon impact. Scared. All right. The NASA cover up because NASA initially assigned Apophis as a high risk, reaching level 4 on the Torino scale before later downgrading it to 0. Some theories believe that agency is hiding the truth. The god of chaos name. Theorists often point to the name Apophis, the Egyptian god of chaos and destruction, as a hidden signal that the agency known as asteroid is a threat. Calculated lies. There is a persistent belief that if an extinction level event were to actually coming, the government would withhold that information to prevent a global panic. A long-running internet myth claims that the 13-year-old Jern student discovered a math error in NASA's calculations, proving the impact risk was 100 times higher than reported. Now, allegedly, NASA and European space agencies have confirmed this was a canard hoax and no such error exists, but I don't really know that for certain, but that's what they're claiming. All right. A keyhole chain reaction fears. Some theories focus on scientific uncertainties to suggest a hidden danger. Nudges. A recent study noted a 1 in a billion chance that a smaller unseen asteroid could hit Apophis and nudge it into a collision course with Earth, while scientists consider this a statistically neglectable is no, not neglectable, negligible. It is often cited by theorists as proof that an impact is still possible. The keyhole, earlier fears focus on the gravitational keyhole, a specific patch of space. If Apophis passed through in 29, would guarantee an impact during the return trip in 36, the year 2036. This has since become ruled out by precise radar measurements. All right, and we have that. Yeah, and thank you, Zero, for the video. And Zero says that part of the video is what is all is needed. Okay, let's see. Let's see. All right. I'll let this section. Let's see. We'll do this section, and then we'll go here. Okay. Curious about what more is in this, and I read the important part that Zero wanted to know, and let's see this next part. Out of curiosity, let's see.
9. Remember that. So there could be some information there that we're not aware of. It's a very close flyby regardless. That just came in, and we have this following up on the murder of Nuno Loureiro, who was discussing and researching into plasma physics and specifically looking at plasma turbulence. Because these sort of fusion reactors, which a lot of people are building now, their main problem is that they can't get plasma to cooperate. Plasma has a mind of its own. It's conscious, has a mind of its own, doesn't like to just stay easily confined and basically just do nothing and get molded around. It's always undergoing these kink instabilities, and effectively it's really hard to get plasma actually to condense down to that point where you can have fusion occur. These elements combining, colliding into each other and fusing together. You need that plasma to condense down to do that. So that's a fusion reactor. So two big scientific names, you could say, in these more astrophysical realms murdered in the past 2 months, and that is certainly a troubling development. And just a quick update for you on the space weather. We did just have a coronal mass ejection impact the Earth, so this is just starting to come in. Does not appear to be that big of an impact. The solar wind strength, the magnetic field going from 6 nanotesla up to about 10, but this could drive a little bit more geomagnetic volatility.
Zero said plasma is the fourth of 5 statements of matter for those that are not up to date. Okay, thank you, Zero.
And in general, the reason why I've been mentioning this in relation to the Saturn-Neptune cycle and some of this disclosure and all this crazy stuff is that when you have more geomagnetic volatility and you have more solar activity and that charging from the sun, it just makes people a little bit crazier, right? It's an activating agent. It's like a catalyst for there to actually be enough energy to drive a change or to trigger a reaction. And so this isn't a huge impact, but we've been loaded with tons of energy now from the sun. We've had tons of big geostorms over the past few years during this solar maximum. And now we're at the end of that. And that is right when the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is occurring. And effectively, we've all been charged up, right? There's so much happening right now. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 months' time, everything looks dramatically different. I mean, we also in the United Kingdom just had Prince Andrew arrested as it relates to his ties with Epstein and all the sicko stuff that they've been doing there. And so, he's in the royal family, or at least he was. So that's a significant step. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big dissolution in many aspects of governments across the world. Hopefully, we'll see. But this solar impact, just adding an extra little bit of energy into everything that's occurring right now. And I think this relates to us at a more personal level as it discusses our connection to these more psychic energy fields. I know personally I've been having some really interesting dreams, and some of them not so pleasant, some a little bit more pleasant. All of them very odd, I would say. An example I'll share with you, if you're not following me on X, then you wouldn't know this, but I had this dream of an avalanche coming down a mountain. And I think this relates to Saturn, Neptune, and this whole disclosure process too. I think it relates to multiple things, but you'll see what I'm about to say. This mountain was in front of us. We're hanging out at the picnic table, and this avalanche came down it because people at the table started to, yell out to get the cool echo sound around the valley. And I was telling them, guys, there could be an avalanche that starts as a result of that. They didn't listen. They got louder and louder. All of a sudden, now there's an avalanche coming down towards us. Me and two others get up and we start running away because we're not stupid. We're like, this avalanche is going to hit us. We all of a sudden are at the edge of a cliff, and the only way down is to jump. It's like a 40-foot drop. We take the fall. We jump over. Thankfully, land at the bottom fairly unscathed. Remember, it's a dream. But all of a sudden, now we're running away. We put some distance in between us.
I paused myself for a split second for a moment. Thank you, Zero, for reminding me of that. All right. So this is what happened. Yeah, I don't mind finishing the video. I usually like to uh, react to videos on here. So I'd be curious what else he has to say. But just to be clear, the part of the video that I just played was the part that Zero wanted us to see. Okay, the important part. So, uh, out of some curiosity, I am curious to see what else he has to react to, and after that, I will. Okay, it's actually over. Okay, where's it? Ah, okay. So you're saying that the video part's over with, and he's just talking about something else. Okay, okay, okay. Going over here. Shout out to the spaceship cats. And okay, I'm going to this other part that Moki was talking about earlier that I'm going to show you all is this about gravity. Let's go this way and oh well, I'm simply just going to do this. Let's go to um, let's go turn something off real quick, and I'll just grab this thing to show everybody. Shout out to the spaceship cats. Oh, let's switch over to this window. Okay, that window. All right. Okay, I'm going to. All right. Put it in this one. Well, that's not exactly what I want to do, so we're going to have to just do this again. Okay, cool. All right, anyway, so we're going to talk about. Oh, the internet went out. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about gravity. Something being anti-gravity. Let's just go there. Okay, and going back to the original drawing board, so to speak, and get the link because I tried to get the thing before and it didn't get the right one. So we're just going to go back here. All right. Then this should work this time. There we go. All right, this is a conspiracy theory about Earth losing gravity. Okay, bring myself here. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys, a phone died, but it ran over. Oh, Mermaid said she's going to use that recipe. Okay. Well, welcome back, Mermaid. Okay.
NASA that on August 12th, 2026, going to lose gravity for 7.3 seconds.
Really?
And they're trying to decide how they're going to save everyone.
How is that possible?
What it is there's two black holes out there, and whatever they emit, their black hole rays or whatever.
Their black holiness?
Yes, is going to intersect on Earth on that day. It's also the day of a solar eclipse, which allows the rays.
Yeah, see, that is really wow. That if that is true, if we lose gravity for a moment, that would be really. You just kind of float up for a moment, then come back down. That for a little bit, like a little up, like for about an inch, then it'll bring it back down. If that's true, that'd be wild. Okay, let's see.
Or something to get to us, but there is it's like 93.7% chance that that's going to happen.
So the rays are going to hit Earth and we're going to float for 7 minutes?
People, animals, anything not locked down starts floating in the first 2 seconds. So 1, 2, you're up in the air. And then you will continue to rise for the next 3 to 4 seconds. Do you hear the rumor that the Earth is going to lose gravity? So there is a report that has been leaked from NASA that on August 12th, 2026, the Earth is going to lose gravity for 7.3 seconds.
That's going to be scared. Yeah, this is something we're going to be diving into. But yeah, that is the alleged conspiracy that Earth is going to be levitating. We're going to be levitating for a moment, and then we'll get back down. People could argue what exactly is going on there, but we will see. If that's really true or not, it will be up for debate. Yeah, ascension. All right. Well.
Really?
And they're trying to decide how they're going to save everyone.
How is that possible?
What it is there's two black holes out there, and whatever they emit, their black hole rays or whatever.
Their black holiness?
Yes, is going to intersect on Earth on that day. It's also the day of a solar eclipse, which allows the rays or something to get to us. But there is it's like 93.7% chance that that's going to happen.
So the rays are going to hit Earth and we're going to float for 7 minutes?
People, animals, anything not locked down starts floating in the first 2 seconds. So 1, 2, you're up in the air. And then you will continue to rise for the next 3 to 4 seconds. Do you hear the rumor that the
All right, okay. And once again, shout out to the spaceship cats. All right. And okay, let's look more into this. Let's see. I forgot to put the right date because it's just giving me a generalization. Okay. Oh, we're going to do that again so we could try to figure out this. Let's see. Conspiracy. What I could just do is just do this. There we go. Now we're going to go there and just repost this. Shout out to all of you. Thank you for being here. Okay. Now, as I said, NASA, thinks that it's not true and did not. Now, say it could be real. It's possible it could be, but they're saying that it isn't true. But if it is, this is hypothetically why. While the gravity loss claim they say is not true, August 12 is actually a significantly day for astronomy due to several real events. Let's see. Total solar eclipse. A major total solar eclipse will occur visible from the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain. And other experts emphasize that while the eclipses temporarily blocks the sun, they have no effect on Earth's gravity. The Perseid meteor shower. The annual Perseid meteor shower will peak at the night of August 12, 13 because of coincidences with a new moon required for a solar eclipse. Viewing the condition will be optimal. All right, partial lunar eclipse. Later that same month, on August 28, a partial lunar eclipse will be visible from several continents, including North America. All right, so the rumor claims that NASA is secretly spending $89 billion on Project Anchor to build bunkers for elites, which we've talked about. Sonny and I have talked about that before. That they're trying to build these bunkers, and what these elites are doing, and they're trying to escape what's going to happen to them, like what happened to Andrew. So they are building bunkers. That's true. Right, NASA's not admitting stuff again, exactly. Because as I told you, that's why you have to ask these things. Like, you could ask these search engines, wording it a certain way, it gives you the answer. A hypothetical answer. Usually the hypothetical is the true answer. NASA has confirmed there is no such project, no secret preparations are undergoing for a gravitational event. The black hole rays, the claims allege that gravitational waves from the black holes will cause the anomaly. Experts note that while black hole mergers do create gravitational waves that pass through Earth, they are so weak that they can only be detected by the most sensitive equipment and do not affect the planet's gravity. origin. The fact checkers have traced this claim back to a social media post starting around December 2025, which incorrectly used the 2020 hypothetical what if video as proof of impending disaster. Some experts also suggest that the rampant of 1976 April Fool's Day prank. Okay, the impact of a hypothetical 7-second gravity loss. NASA and other scientific outlets have used this opportunity for science education. Nothing that the gravity did not actually disappear for 7 seconds. The result would be a catastrophic involving immediate expansion of the atmosphere into space and the violent disintegration of buildings. The rumors estimate that 40 to 60 million casualties is considered a massive underestimate of the true destruction such as physical impossibility would cause. All right, let's see. Hypothetically, what would happen? Let's see, why would this happen? And so I'm asking this hypothetically, why would it happen? All right. To explore this purely science fiction hypothesis, we have to move away from the known physics where gravity is consistent force based on mass and look into the fringe or theoretical concepts. If gravity were to suddenly shut off, it wouldn't just happen on its own. In hypothetical scenario, here are the sci-fi reasons that it might happen. Discovery of negative mass. In standard physics, all matter has positive mass and attracts other matter. If a massive amount of negative mass, a theoretical type of matter with minus weight, were to pass through Earth to be created in lab, it would be exert a repulsive gravitational force. Result: if exactly the right amount of negative mass balanced out Earth's positive mass, the net gravity would hit zero and would float. Scared? Gravitational wave interference. We know that the gravity moves in waves confirmed by LIGO 2015 in the same way that two ocean waves can cancel each other out. Destructive interference. A hypothetical massive gravitational wave from cosmic event like two black holes merging nearby, it could theoretically clash with Earth's gravitational field. Exactly, Lori. Right. Analogy. It's like being a noisy room where someone turns on a noise canceling frequency that creates a pocket of perfect silence for those 7 seconds, and the signal of Earth's gravity would be canceled out by passing cosmic waves. The Higgs field fluctuation. According to the standard model of physics, particles get their mass by interacting with Higgs field. If there were a localized glitch or fluctuation in the field, sometimes called a vacuum decay or a phase transaction, particles could briefly lose their mass. Result: since gravity is a result of mass of the atoms making up the Earth suddenly forgets how to have mass for 7 seconds, gravity would cease to exist instantly. why the black hole rays idea from the popular is popular but wrong. The reason the leak mentioned the black holes, they are most extreme gravitational objects in the universe. People often imagine them as magnets that can be turned on or off. Now, NASA is claiming. I don't know if they're being honest here, but they're claiming the black hole gravity is just like just like stars. It doesn't beam rays that cancel out of gravity. Black hole were close enough to affect our gravity, it wouldn't just float. The Earth would be stretched like a spaghetti, a process scientists literally call spaghettification, and torn apart. So it is possible that something may happen, but may not be most likely, but something may occur. That there might be floating for 2 or 3 seconds, not, and then we'll get back down. But it'll be, that is real, we would be scared. Yeah. And appreciate that rabbit hole, very, very fascinating. Okay. And Lori, there's something we've been talking about which has to do with MK Ultra. So, going into that, which you may have heard this before, but that's something that Oki and I have been talking about. Let's see. Okay, and MK Ultra was a top secret illegal CIA research program that aimed to develop the mind control and interrogation techniques running in 53 to 73. Now, there's theories that this MK Ultra is still active now, or something from it was being used in media, etc., to influence people in certain ways, and it's being used by the occultic elites too. All right. The project involved the vast network of experiments on human subjects, often conducted without their knowledge or consent. So it started allegedly in the Cold War, where the program was launched by the CIA director Alan Dulles and headed by chemist Sidney Gottlieb in response to fears that the Soviet, Chinese, and North Korean agents were successfully brainwashing the U.S. prisoners of war. Weaponizing the mind. The CIA sought to use true serums for interrogations, ways to erase memory, methods to program individuals to follow commands without question, effectively creating a robot agent. MK Ultra consisted of approximately 149 subprojects carried out across more than 80 institutions, including universities, hospitals, and prisons. Subjects were dosed with high amounts of LSD, mescaline, and heroin, and other substances. Case in Patience, Kentucky, was reportedly given LSD in 147 consecutive days. So they were trying to, and back in the 50s and stuff, they would give people this as part of the experiment. Right. Operation Midnight Climax. The CIA established safe houses in San Francisco, New York, where prostitutes lured men who were then unknowingly dosed with LSD and observed through one-way mirrors. Our physical and psychological torture technique include electric shock therapy, 30 to 40 times normal power, sensory deprivation, in hypnosis, physic driving force patients to listen to looped recordings for weeks while in drug-induced comas. Nazi ruse. Some historians link the MK Ultra to earlier Nazi experiments in the U.S. recruitment of Nazi scientists through Operation Paperclip, who have studied similar techniques at concentration camps. And that is, shout out to Mary Toodles, that is certainly a concern because there is many of the Nazis were the Nazi scientists were brought here from the past, and they came down here and were used in these different programs. All right, and right, and Lori says, "Thank you, Timothy, Larry." Oh, yes. I know about who that is. And Lori says, "Operation Paperclip." Yep. All right. So these are some other people that were in the experiment. Now, Charles Manson apparently was a part of it too, but there is Ken Kesey, Ted, the Unabomber person was participant in it, and Whitney. Yeah, Kaczynski, thanks. Whitney Bulger. Yeah, and then destroyed evidence in 73. CIA director Richard Helms ordered the all MK Ultra records destroyed to avoid the public outcry. And this is why it's important that people know as much about this as possible, because it's to expose what is Charles Manson explained so much. Yeah. Yeah, because apparently him and the Manson family were recruited and they drugged him out probably since he was growing up, and that's why they did what they did. They were cuckoo. The stuff that they did that were wrong. Now, it doesn't mean all the people that did these drugs were doing things like what Charles Manson did. Because back in that time, a lot of people were just trying to be, say, were part of a free spirit movement. And not like what Charles Manson did, that was something very wicked. And I don't think that the other people are doing the Epstein stuff, but the original concept was the government was trying to use mind control on its population, and there was obviously a backlash from this, and then you had the movement that was counterculture to challenge the authoritarian government from trying to brainwash its citizens, and using these things for more of defying the authority for a free outcome. So that was something that I think is important, because this all kind of makes sense now. It all ties in together. Okay, Ori said, I dropped acid once in 86, and I can't even imagine doing it for 5 straight days, let alone 174 days. Yeah, Lori, it's, you could say, I'd say the bombardment was an understatement of what the mind must have been like, because they were trying to make them into just mindless machines. That's what they were trying to do to them. But yeah, definitely. I've not done that myself, but I know from studying about it, it's going to another planet, pretty much, another universe. And Lori said it opens the mind too much, opens your mind to so much, and very overwhelming, but also incredible. Yeah, and it apparently brings you to another dimension. That's what it does. That's where some people saw aliens, etc. And the thing is that what the CIA was trying to do was putting it in the wrong hands, so to speak, to use it to bend it to their will, to do what they want it to do with the mind, to use it in a negative way for their own interests. Yeah, and that's what the Boyum, I probably pronounced that wrong, Identity movie was depicting. Oh, okay. Yes, a good analogy. Yeah, I think that movies like that and other ones were depicting what it was going to do, it it's certain, and also music and certain sensors can replicate things like that. Also, I think that, as I said, the original intentions of LSD and these different things was the government was trying to use it to uh, brainwash people into their machine, but then people use it then independently and trying to fight back against it. It seems from different points of view about it. And Born. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Lori. It's just the letters. Sometimes the way the internet has the letters, it made me think it was something else. But thanks for clarifying. Yeah. Okay, Born. I know what that is. Okay. It looks a little bit different to me for a moment, but when I zoom into it, I can see a little bit better. Let's see. Yep. The R and the R and N looks like a M from my point of view. Scared. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Very, very interesting. That Ken and Mary. Yes, welcome. Merry pranksters lived. Oh, yeah, that's something. Yeah, yeah. I remember, and you lived in a. Your grandparents had the house where the occult leader owned one time that was haunted. So, eh, interesting stuff going on the West Coast. Yeah. Hey, public relations. The program was first exposed in 1975 by the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission. And, there's an interview that I've been reacting to about Epstein, and he was part of the Rockefeller board. And he was just a good kid, but people think, there's many reasons why he was involved in it. So, and policy changes. Following the outcry, President Gerald Ford issued an executive order prohibiting human drug experimentation without informed consent. They always put clauses in these things. Informed consent can be, with the art of speech, articulated in such a different way, and you could, they consented to watch their TV, they consented to watch their music, listen to their music. You see, you can consent to watch a movie, consent to watch a politician talk, but they're putting that in there, or they consented to eat this food. And a lot of times they have this very fine print about something, and they gave a legal disclaimer. And I'm glad about the law stuff that I learned from the trial chats, where I'm able to know the way you could word something a certain way. You could put like a Trojan horse in it. All right, Frank Olson, the death of the CIA scientist who fell from a 10th floor window in 1953 after being unwillingly drugged with LSD, remains the most notorious tragedy of the project, and his family eventually received 7,500,000 settlement for a formal apology from the government. It reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode when the guy was seeing the amusement park in a dream and the crazy woman, and he jumped out the window. That's probably where Rod Stewart got it from, I think. Lori said, I saw Kenzie Buss' father at the After Dead tribute camping concert in a big field just north of Eugene. Wild times, dangerous brownies. Oh. Okay, that certainly sounds like a very a wild experience indeed. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, Bubbles is in the background, and he's eating his cat cereal right now. Yeah. Yes, the kitty noises. Let's see, and oh yeah, okay, and let's what or I'll tell you about what documents are going to be released in this UFO disclosure. Let's see, what files is Trump releasing from UFO files. Okay. Okay, so this is some stuff that these files that Trump will allegedly release will contain. Is announced that he is directing the Department of Defense and other federal agencies to begin identifying and releasing all government files related to the unidentified anomalous phenomena and extraterrestrial life. Identified flying objects, UFOs, UAP files detailing military encounters with unexplained aerial or underwater phenomena. Extraterrestrial life records related to the search for or evidence of alien life. Exploring the evidence. Any and all of the other information connected to these matters, potentially including sensor data, pilot reports, and historical archives. Separate from the general file release, reports indicate that the administration has granted U.S. Congressman Eric Burleson access to high security locations in Area 51 and other military bases rumored to house recovered non-human technology. Rumors of a speech. There is unconfirmed speculation when disclosure that Trump may deliver a definitive speech on the subject as early as July 2026, coinciding with anniversary of the Roswell incident. Yeah, so besides the things happening with ICE, with the nice, like something's nice, the nice information that is being released about the files, the Epstein files we have now, the other files about UFOs being talked about, which I think is a breakthrough, definitely. It'd be so cool to see about the UFO incident. Okay, and let's see. Operation Looking Glass. All right, Operation Looking Glass is the code name for contains military missions and the conspiracy theory speculation. Yeah, I also agree that I hope the first thing that Trump says is Roswell's not a weather balloon. Absolutely. Facts. Conspiracy theory speculation in the fringe and UFO disclosure communities. The Project Looking Glass refers to an alleged top secret CIA or military project involving a device that can peer into the future or alternate timelines. The technology. Theorists claim that the device uses exotic technology, sometimes linked to recovered alien craft, to simulate probable outcomes of world events. The location. Popular narratives place this project at Area 51's S4 facility on a level nicknamed the Alice floor. Scientific reality, which we know that scientific reality is just a cover up. There is no verifiable evidence of such a device, but it's actually really there. Critics note that the name Looking Glass was chosen for military simply because plans mirrored ground operation. All right. Connection to the UFO rumors. All right. Term has recently resurfaced during the viral claims of large of. Okay, and let's see about alien time travel. Lori, have you heard about the theory about aliens being time travelers? That's something we've been looking into. Yeah, okay, you've heard about it too. Okay, nice. 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 Several high profile whistleblowers and researchers have proposed the identity of UAPs may be time traveling technology. All right, here's a breakdown of the leading theories and current events surrounding this topic. All right. The future human, the theory, proposed by researchers like Michael Masters and retired NASA engineer Larry Lemke. This theory suggests that UAPs are not from another planet, but are further humans traveling back in time to study their own evolutionary past. The logic this explains why aliens often look humanoid, bipedal to eyes, large heads. Mission proponents argue that these beings are anthropologists from the future who are observing us like we observed ancient ruins. Interdimensional holographic tech. Right. During the landmarks of 2023, the congressional hearing, whistleblower David Grush suggested that these crafts might be traveling through space in traditional sense. Now, I do believe that they could be watchers from the fallen watchers of like some angelic being, but this is also I want to have transparency about what all these things could be. So this on the table about time travelers from some other realm. Like they could go into the ocean, like bam, right into the ocean. These things could go fly up, boom, go right down in seconds. Something impossible for us to do right now. They jump across galaxies. It's so cool. Oh, and I'll tell you about how that works. So, like, let's see how they had this hypothetical. Passion and I were talking about this in the show a couple of weeks ago. Okay, how we could travel to spell quick. All right, the way we would get to something like Orion's Belt, for instance, or a planet like a star system like that, it would be the reach to distances is reasonable time frame. Current science and fringe theorists propose the following: warp drivers. This theoretical concept involves bending space time and compressing it in front of the ship and expanding it behind to create a warp bubble. A study in December 2025 proposed more stable theoretical designs for these drives, though they are still required exotic matter that has not been discovered. Maury said, Star Trek, The Strange New World predominantly features the established 23rd century warp drive, which uses matter antimatter reactions to generate subspace bubble that distorts space time. Mm-hmm. All right, so thank you. Yep, and I think a lot of the Star Trek and those sci-fi movies, TV shows were basing it off technology that they learned about. The Aether Atlas has the material needed. Yeah. Oh, it's the same thing I said. Well, great minds think alike. Yeah, because if you're able to bend space time a certain way and have it just glide to another galaxy, that is basically what the key to do there would be. Right? And let's see this. Right. Right, absolutely. It definitely seemed awesome stuff. Going here. Okay, and going there, and yeah, and I definitely think it is very true for this concept to be real, even though we haven't come up with it ourselves yet, or how it could be done. Right. Laser light sails. Projects like Breakthrough Starshot aim to use powerful Earth based lasers to push the tiny probes with light sails up to 20% the speed of light. Even as incredible speeds, it would take over 6,000 years to reach Mintica. Lori, that I think is it has to be true. I don't know for certain, but it has to be true because I will see these cats will disappear in the house sometimes. And you don't know where they went, and they must have a secret base somewhere where they're communicating with their cat brethren on other planets. Because a lot of these cats have snake eyes, and they certainly have alien features to them. So yeah, that has to be. You know, the catnip is something that bribes their reality distortion field. Yeah. Right, nuclear propulsion, pulse propulsion's the 1960 concept that involves detonating atomic bombs behind a massive shield or propel a craft is considered one of the few technologies feasible way to reach 10% of light speed, which could reach the nearest star in 50 years, but would still manifest to reach Orion. Yeah, catnip completely exposes them. Absolutely. Right. Wormhole often cited in alien tech theories, wormholes would theoretically allow traveler to bypass distance entirely by connecting to points in space time. But yeah, with this new technology, we were able to go to that planet within within a couple of moments. All right, here I am. I'm still here. Okay, and Ori says, I wonder if that's what is behind Native American shapeshifters, Sasquatch legends. Oh, okay. Let's talk about those cryptids. Let's see. Let's see. In many Native American traditions, the Sasquatch is indeed viewed as a supernatural or spiritual being rather than being a biological cryptid. Because we talk about cryptids in the show now. The gorillas were allegedly cryptids. They were cryptids and thought to be fictional, but they actually are real. Right. Many have reported seeing an orb or multiple orbs when they also saw Sasquatch. Yeah, I see with Sasquatch, it's it's possible that it might be interdimensional, where it could go through bypass different dimensions. Yeah. Many tribes describe them as having abilities that go beyond the physical world, often identifying them as shapeshifters or interdimensional guardians. Sasquatch is shapeshifter. While modern Western culture often view Bigfoot as undiscovered ape, indigenous and oral histories frequently emphasize the magical and spiritual nature of them. So the indigenous Native American people here emphasize the spiritual, supernatural aspect of it. Shape-shifting abilities. Several Pacific Northwest traditions, such as those and the Sistalis people, describe the Sasquest Asa, spiritual being capable of shifting forms between different animals, planets, and objects. Spiritual realm. They are often believed to walk into realms and the physical and spiritual, which explains why they can vanish instantly and are also difficult to track or capture. The facts by how to hunt YouTube channel reads emails that people send him regarding their Sasquatch encounters. He's no nonsense, a real dude who lives in Canada, spends a lot of time in the woods. Well, I'm going to check him out. Thank you for this channel suggestion. For those interested, that's the channel. All right. Comparison to other shapeshifters. You're welcome, Lori. It is important to distinguish the Sasquatch from other shapeshifters. Okay. Alright, the core nature, spiritual forest inhabitant, the Sasquatch. It's a protector, guardian, usually bidgen or shy unless disrespected. Alright, the skinwalker, malevolent human witch, the Navajo. Harmful sorcerer, that's a skinwalker. Harmful sorcerer uses dark magic to transform into animals to cause terror. Wendigo, spirit of green greed, cannibalism. Fearsome monster represents the loss of humanity and a warning against environmental destruction. Some researchers suggest that cryptids like Sasquatch and skinwalkers are simply different ways of interpreting a singular phenomenon. However, the Native American elders often cautioned against this cryptid label as it reduces the livid spiritual relatives to more mere biological curiosity. All right, let's see. Okay, yes. The Wendigo. Let's see with the Wendigo. Yeah, scared. Yeah. Scared. Scared. Alright, in the Aquaquine folklore, the Wendigo is far more than a scary monster. It is a profound psychological and spiritual concept representing the ultimate corruption of the human soul. While the pop culture often depicts them as deer headed skeletal creatures like the movie Antlers, the traditional indigenous oral history is much darker. Traditionally, Wendigo. Ah, yes. Here he is. Duke Raoul. Yeah, shout out to the bulls, the camels, and the mice, and I think that's an ox. I'm actually not quite sure. The gray one. It has to be an ox. Which I think actually a cow and an ox are the same thing. So I know that's something. I know that's something. But I'd like it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so thanks for coming by, buddy. Uh, we're talking about out in the west, the Wendigos, and we're talking about many of the different cryptids from out there, and the skinwalkers, etc. The gluttony paradox. Its most terrifying trait that it grows in proportion to which it eats. Every time it consumes a human, it gets larger, but stays just as starving. It is the embodiment of eternal hunger. The appearance. Described as having gray, decaying skin pulled tightly over bones. See, it's gray like the aliens are. Sunken eyes and heart made of literal ice. It gives off the odor of decay and death. The Canadian Encyclopedia. Unlike Sasquatch, which is born a spiritual being, Wendigo is often transformed to human. Cannibalism. The most common origin is a person who resorts to eating human flesh to survive a harsh winter. This act invites the Wendigo spirit to possess them. Duke says, "I live in Utah, where all the cryptics live, and I'm in 2 hours from Skinwalker Ranch." Scared, ski-aired, skirt. That's my song right there, the scared song. All right. The ghost consumes everything and encourages and grows enormously huge. Yeah, that has to be very terrifying. It just morphs. It's like a roach that flies. It's like when you think it's bad, it gets worse. Greed and the selfishness. In spiritual sense, anyone who puts their own desires above the survival of the community can be infected. It is personification of social cannibalism. The Wendigo spirit, it can Also be malevolent spirit that possesses a person in their sleep, causing them to develop an unstable craving for human flesh. Wendigo psychosis, real world link. In psychology, Wendigo psychosis is recognized through debated culture bond syndrome. It describes a state where an individual develops intense fear of becoming a Wendigo, an obsessive craving a human flesh, which other food is available. Historical records from 17th to 19th centuries detail cases where individuals asked to be executed by their tribe because they felt the ice heart forming and feared would hurt their family's National Library of Medicine. Community versus individual. Survival in the North dependent on sharing. The Wendigo represents the extreme individualist who takes everything for themselves. Yes, yeah, very nice scary emoji. Scared. Yeah, because you see, it's like a code red, right there, and then you got this dude. You got grounds. All right. Me versus identity. Survival in the North dependent on sharing. The Wendigo represents the extreme individualist who takes everything for themselves. Environmental balance, it symbolizes the destruction of nature, just as the Wendigo eats until there is nothing left. The humans can consume the earth until they starve themselves. Wendigo versus Sasquatch. The core difference. While you mentioned the connection to which I mentioned a connection to Sasquatch shapeshifters earlier, the two are opposites. Sasquatch usually is a protector or a shy ancient one who lives in harmony with woods. Okay, got a story to tell. One night, I was in a random chat room on YouTube. It was a live stream about Christian music, and ironically, there's lots of satanic people in there. It's kind of an atheist. It's really crazy to me that there's so many of those people that go to those and they don't even believe in God allegedly. And some of them were in there and had some Christians and some people, and I just went in there. We all just had an intellectual conversation for a couple hours, and there was just two trolls, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm going to beat up this person, that person. They're acting all tough," and I kind of made some back and forth with the person. So eventually, over time, I had some debates with some of the atheists, with some of the Satanists, and some of the other people, and talking to the Christians, praying, etc. And yeah, that was a fun night. Anyway, I was going to. This is back when I was starting to stay up later and later into the day, and then I've stayed up till like the whole day, pretty much now, which I do tonight. I'll get regular sleep, most likely. But anyway, I was staying up till like the morning was about to happen, and one of the troll just like out of nowhere gave me this intellectual information about all these different conspiracy theories, like a Harvard uh, researcher. I was like, this troll was like a genius in disguise. I was like, I didn't see it coming. Usually they're morons, but anyway, he was saying about there was this mysterious man in the woods that people will see, the mysterious helper. So when sometimes people are lost in the woods or are lost somewhere, there's a mysterious helper that helps them out of the woods or helps them out of a situation or guides them, and they don't know who it was or where they came from. And that is similar to this concept of Sasquatch, what these indigenous people are referring to. So to wrap it up with a bow on top, that's what I'm referring to, is that the Sasquatch mirrors the people seeing the mysterious helper uh, in the woods. And by the way, we also talked about the skunk ape, which is this ape creature that lives allegedly in Florida. He was telling me about. And I said, "Oh, thank you. I'll do research on it." So there we go. So that was a story about this thing I'm talking about. Anyway, so the Wendigo, a predator and a broken one who represents the disharmony and root of the human spirit. No, not root, but rot of the human spirit. Oh, okay. Okay, that is the yeah, allegedly that is the mysterious helper. Let's go here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, and continuing. In many communities, the Wendigo Hunter was a specialized role of a mixture of community protector, a spiritual healer, when necessary, and executioner. This wasn't a job anyone wanted. It was a heavy burden born out of absolute necessity for tribal survival during the brutal winters. The Wendigo Hunter. It was almost always a high ranking shaman, a medicine. They believed that because the Wendigo was a spiritual infection, was a much as a physical one, it couldn't be stopped with just arrows or clubs. The identification, they were trained to spot the signs of transformation. The social withdrawal, a sudden obsession with ice or cold, and icy stare in the eyes. The spiritual combat. It was believed the hunter had to fight the Wendigo on a spiritual plane before they could ever hope to defeat it physically. The most documented historical Wendigo hunter was the Sucker Whitehead. Okay. And and Sheenab and Sheen Abi, chief named Jack Fiddler Zahal Wayuno Giz Higo Gayubo. Wow, that was enlightening. Okay, the legacy. He claimed to have defeated, humanly executed at least 14 Wendigos during his life in the late 19th and 20th centuries. The method. In cases where person begged to be deleted killed because they felt the ice heart taking over, Fiddler would perform a ritual execution to save the person's soul and protect the tribe. Tragedy. In 1907, Fiddler and his son Joseph were arrested by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and for the murder of a woman they claimed that turning into a Wendigo, Jack escaped and took his own life, while Joseph died in prison. This case marked the end of the traditional Wendigo hunter era, and a Western law replicated indigenous spiritual justice. How to kill a Wendigo. According to legend, because of the creature is born of ice and greed, the only ways to stop it involve fire and silver, melting the heart. The most common legend says you must pierce the creature's heart of ice with a silver stake or a silver bullet, then burn the body until the ice is completely melted. The tallow cure. In some rare stories, in a person was either earlier stages of Wendigo psychosis, a healer might try to force feed them hot bare tallow fat to the heart was meant to melt the ice in their stomach and heart, potentially curing the transformation. In the Cree traditions, the only way to truly stop a powerful Wendigo was to call upon the Great Spirit or a powerful animal guardian, like the bear or eagle, to strip the Wendigo of its power, allowing the hunter to land finishing blow. Alright, silver thought to be a pure metal, which we know it is now. And pierce spiritual hide, the fire, the only element that can destroy the ice heart. The hot fat, a medical cure to melt the internal cold before the turn is complete. Isolation, removing the person from the community to prevent hunger from spreading. Okay, and explain the. Yeah, so yeah, that's some facts about the Wendigo. Okay, so the mysterious helper, which I was talking about before, is seeing the woods during times of distress is a recurring theme in a global folklore, modern survival accounts. Depending culture and specific experience, the figure is interpreted as a spiritual guardian, a mythical protector, or even psychological survival mechanism. The third band factor is persistent sensation of an unseen person or sometimes a visible helper man who provides clear instructions, encouragement, or directions to safety. The scientific theory, psychologists suggest this is a coping mechanism where the brain split personalizes under the extreme stress, creating an external guide to help the person survive. Which we know, in my opinion, it's not only a psychological mechanism, but it is a some sort of a being. If it's God, angel, or a Sasquatch, if that's what it is, it may be that. So that's what I think the Sasquatch is. Some sort of helper. And definitely because like when someone's really in that situation, like you see, uh, you know, the grass is green, the grass is green. It is what it is. So I do believe in this spiritual stuff, definitely. Many cultures have specific Many cultures have specific legends for a humanoid helper who guides the lost, who protects the woods. The Scottish Highlands, a shy, malevolent spirit who wears a cloak of leaves and moss. He's specifically known for helping lost children find their way out of the forest and back to their villages. This is from Scotland. It's the Giheli Duhu. Facts. Yes. By the way, Lori, it's nice to see you again after because it's been a while, so want to mention that. And the Lishi Slavic mythology, often described as a tall man with a green beard, and Lishi is a shape-shifting guardian of the forest, while can be a trickster who leads travelers astray, and he also known to guide those who respect nature back to safe paths if their intentions are pure. The Sasquatch Pacific Northwest. As discussed earlier, many indigenous groups view Sasquatch. Oh, I appreciate it, Lori. As discussed earlier, the many indigenous groups view the Sasquatch not as a monster but as a big elder brother or guardian who watches over humans and may steer them away from danger. Moss folklore Japan. Moss folk. These gray, moss covered figures are said to help people find medical plants or offer useful advice during times of the plague or peril. Modern interpretations: the hermit, the ghost hiker. In modern times, some helper man stories turn out people living off the grid. Yeah, there are hermits uh, and phantom hikers too. That's separate from what we're talking about, but just as a side note, there are hermits who are mysterious men who turn out to and who live alone in the Maine woods for many years, and phantom hiker. In regions like Appalachian Mountains, there persist reports of a phantom hiker who appears on trail to warn others of dangers, whether are blocked paths headed or vanishes when hiker turns around. And also hermits too. I thought hermits were fascinating when I learned about it because one of my friends was interested in it, and with the hiker, with the hermit, sometimes the hermits would talk to bears and animals in the woods and like just tail with them like they're friends. I thought that was a fascinating concept. All right, and let's see. Let's see some famous third men stories. The mysterious helper man, often reported by people in life or death situations. Let's see. Famous explorer accounts. Sir Ernest Shackleton, 1916, during his desperate 36-hour trek across the glaciers of South Georgia Island, Shackleton and his two companions all independently felt a fourth person was walking with them. Shackleton later referred to the presence as divine companion that helped guide them to safety. Frank Smith, 1933. While attempting to summit Mount Everest alone, Smith felt so strongly that he was accompanied by a second person that he reached into his pocket, broke his kindlement cake in half, and turned to offer the piece to an invisible companion. Reinhold Messner, 1970, the legendary climber, felt a third person descending Nanga Parbat with him and his brother after they had reached the summit and were near total exhaustion. Charles Lindbergh, no, let's say Lindbergh, 1927. During his 33-hour solo flight across the Atlantic, Lindbergh reported seeing transparent ghostly figures in a cockpit who spoke to him with authority, helping him to stay and navigate. Ron DeFrancio, 2001. Last person to escape the South Tower in 9/11, reported being guided by a male voice that called him by name, gave him specific directions to crawl through the fire and debris to reach a stairwell. Oh, very cool. In 2026, scientists, let's see, and let's go here. How did ancient tribes do with indigos? With wendigos. By the way, Lori, I'm growing stuff in the garden. Um, it's pretty cool. Oh, let's see. Oh, there we go. All right, ancient tribes decree the Ojoibi and the Anshin Abi dealt with wendigos through a combination of social prevention, spiritual healing, and ritual execution. Because the wendigo was seen as both a physical monster and a spiritual infection of the soul, their methods addressed both the person and spirit. Tribes used the Wendigo legend as a powerful deterrent against cannibalism and extreme greed. Ceremonial dances. During the times of famine, groups like the Azanoboline performed the, whoa, this is an interesting one, Wendig Okon Zinhammawen. Wow. A strategical mass dance intended to reinforce the seriousness of the Wendigo taboo and importance of community sharing. Oh, okay. Understood. Yes. And I'm known for, actually something, a fun fact about the show. When I do the thing, when I read stuff, I've been known to, like, when people, like, when I did the really late night lives, I would read stuff, and people like to go to sleep to it. And that was something that is just a kind of a fun fact about the stream. Latina liked it when she used to be on YouTube. And by the way, I just want to say, I appreciate you coming today, Lori. And okay, by framing the selfishness as a path, becoming a monster, tribes ensure that the limited winter resources were shared fairly, preventing the isolations that often led to growing wendigo. Spiritual healing, the cure. If a person showed early signs of the wendigo psychosis, such as the aversion of normal food or craving human flesh, traditional healers attempted to thaw the person's icy heart. We talked about that earlier. Ritual execution, when failed, a person became a threat to the tribe, they were executed by specialized wendigo hunters or shamans. Subduing the beasts. Some legends state that only a spiritual leader could subdue a wendigo using specific spells, ceremonies, or weapons made of silver, steel, or iron. Okay. So the rest is what we've already talked about. All right. And way. Okay, so at this point in time, we finished information about the Wendigo. All right. And looking about anything else here. Let's see. My birthday's in 5 days. That's cool. I just realized that. All right. That's good. Here we go. All right. At this point in time, we finished the topics for the night. So, I appreciate everybody being here, coming out, and it was nice seeing everybody. We had a good stream. So I'm glad that we had a going this time, and everybody have a good Friday evening, and peace.